School. So again, I'm really proud of Maine. We've been doing an amazing job in getting locally grown food into our school. According to the USDA Farm to School Census, 85% of Maine school districts are sourcing food locally. 42% of schools are having edible school gardens. It's just become a great place for the farming community. Number of farms are growing in our state. It creates new markets. And also our school kids are getting the opportunity of both seeing the food in the garden and eating more healthy, locally grown food, which I think makes a real difference when it comes to getting fruits and vegetables in their diet. They feel that much closer to the kale or spinach if they see it growing out in the school garden. So I'm thrilled about the USDA Farm to School grant program that was in the 2010 Healthy Hunger Free Kids Act. Again, it's a huge assistance to our school. When I submitted my own bill on the Local Farms and Jobs Act, I thought this was something we really had to enhance. But during the 2 years since the advent of the grant program, I've been very proud to see many Maine projects apply for for farm to school grants. But I am always disappointed when they hear how few of them are actually funded. It's obvious that $5 million is not enough to keep up with a very high funding demand for farm to school projects, which frankly I think would address many of the concerns that people have raised earlier about making it easier to transition to healthy school lunches. So can you tell me a little bit about the President's budget request and how it supports the Farm to School project? And I'll throw this in because I'm going to run out of time. I also am excited about the Farm to School 5-state pilot project that is in the Farm Bill. I think it's an excellent opportunity to connect those school districts. Do you have a plan to select those 5 states, and what's the timeline for that pilot process?
Well, let me say the farm to school is something we continue to promote. I've done this as Audrey and our deputy as we've traveled the country, both encouraging schools, just for, as you noted, many schools, some of the best schools around the country in rural areas or urban areas, even places like Iowa have pointed out to me that kids now they're encountering more kids coming to school who really are unfamiliar with where food comes from. They may see that corn and soybeans out in the field, but they may be unaware that it's not the Hy-Vee market in their case, or Safeway or somebody like that. So we very much encourage it. We encourage school gardens. We encourage it as both a way to trigger student interest in knowing where food comes from, but also, as you noted, it can often be a way to encourage a child to say, we grew these apples here in this county, or whatever the food product might be. Now, on the broader question of support, we are working with the Ag Marketing Service on encouraging and helping schools to do more local purchasing as well. And even in the USDA foods arena, where about 20% of foods then end up going to schools, they are often, we say to schools, on the 80% of the funding that schools use to buy foods locally, we've simplified our regulations so that they're better able to buy more locally produced foods. And we consider that a win-win situation. Those dollars go back in the local community. They tend to be fresh foods or fresh dairy that is going to affect, the students. Now, your question on the 5 states, I'm sorry, I got distracted for a moment.
In the Farm Bill, there's a Farm to School 5-state pilot program. So I'm just wondering about the timeline of that and how soon it can be implemented and how you'll choose the states.
We currently have a request, what's referred to as an RFA, out across the country saying, tell us who's interested in doing this, rather than just putting out a proposal and then waiting for a state or some states to show up. We've said, tell us if you have some interest in this before we set out the criteria to get a sense of how much interest there is across the country and who might be wanting to come forward to participate in it. We very much like these grants for a variety of reasons.
Great.
Mr. Balladeo.
Thank you.